everybody, Kane here, and welcome to another video of Art of Conquest. So in this one, we have a little bit of a doozy. I will try my hardest to explain it as easily as possible, but when it goes down like a roller coaster, and I'm not even joking. So, to start, this particular pet had a whole different description in terms of the ability, and the pet is Phantom Hound. So, right now it says when the Spirit Beast is deployed, all friendly troops gain 6% attack. So, before, whenever this pet came out, it said when the Spirit Beast is deployed, all friendly units gain 6% attack, which means it would buff the dragon, it would buff the heroes, it would buff the army. And now it's only buffing the army. So, first things first, what happened? So, when it happened, right, the Chinese servers had this description as it is right now. So, Chinese already knew that this particular ability granted troops 6% attack. Whereas in the international servers, it granted all units attack, or so the description said. So when some people acquire this pet and when ham on it and even acquire this particular pet to 4 stars, I have done tests with 2 people and they were pretty extensive tests. Like I believe with one of them we had done 8 or 9 battles each, so 8 or 9 battles with this one and then 8 or 9 battles with the Umbra Fox. Now with this person, both of these pets were level 1. This pet had 4 stars, this pet had 5 stars. Now before anybody says anything, the magic of this particular pet should be or was similar with this particular one when it was 4-star. Now, yes, if this was 5-star, this would be different because it also grants a little bit of magic damage. But the thing is, if you look at, say, something like this, right, the A is 246. This one is pretty much exactly the same, but a B would be about 41 points lower. However, if you don't have a star, it kind of reduces by 50, 60. So likely this pet even had less magic than that of an Umbra Fox. So what happened was when I tested the battle, right, and people, whenever they kind of want to get a buff, usually they try to do something that would pretty much buff one of their strongest heroes, units, army, and stuff like that, right? So you would want to buff your strongest stuff to either beat enemy quicker or survive longer. So what happened was the pet was increasing Avril's damage output and increasing by a pretty considerable amount. Like it was 10 to 20%, maybe even more. And that was just by equipping the pet. We were not casting any of these abilities. We were not casting any of these abilities. It was just this particular passive, and I suppose the S's. But at the same time, the magic was less than that of an Umbra Fox. So the question is, what happened to the pet? So the Chinese, say description, had it buffing army. International description had it buffing all units. So usually the Chinese translation is the correct one. However, then at the same time, the pet was bugged to increase Avril's damage capabilities. Because, of course, most people would only test the hero that does the most damage, that has the most effect, whether or not something would improve her. So that is why majority of the time I just do my say tests with that of an Avril. So aside from that, I have no idea whether or not it directly buffed, or rather buffed Avril's abilities, whether or not it buffed the Arcanate or stuff like that. All I know is that inside of the battle, she was doing a lot more damage with this particular passive. Now, with the recent patches and changes to descriptions, they literally changed this to troops. So if they were going around and fixing stuff and fixing descriptions, what would stop them from perhaps fixing a bug eventually, or a glitch, or whatever it was, and just keep it hidden? We already know that they sometimes have shadow patches. Like some patches ago, resistances were fine, a random patch comes down, and you one-shot army left, right, and center. So there are nuances like that, or nuances where a patch comes in and nobody can kill the army as well. So we already know that there are some nuances happening behind the scenes. And what if they kind of fixed the glitch, the bug as well, and also fixed the description? And now most of the Linari, most of the money that people put into this ability is kind of voided. So pretty much you wasted either 50,000 Inari or like 400 bucks or 500 bucks, however much people had spent on this particular pet. It's honestly kind of absurd because it kind of enters the what's it called, false advertising area, I think. Because I mean, when you release a pet and it says one thing, then a few months later it says a whole other thing, it does not really look good, right? It really does not look good, regardless of what it is. And if some people get it and they test it and it's performing good, it's kind of saying, or rather, it's kind of doing what it's saying, and then you change it. Well, then the pet was bugged and it had to provide something else, and then it would get fixed. But then again, it was not as it was meant to be at the very beginning. So the thing is, there is proof. I think I will be placing some photos, or the picture of that, and I will just, I guess, maybe link my previous video in the description or so, if anybody want to check for proof. But essentially what you can do is likely message VIP support if you have invested in this particular pet, and you might want to, I don't know, remove it or something, and just ask for some other pet shards, or I don't know. Because I mean, to be honest, I am kind of baffled that they would actually do something like that. Like, to be honest, I mean, bad descriptions is one thing, but bad descriptions plus a bug combined in an ability is just absurd, man. Like, seriously. But even then, a bad description would make people spend a ton of Linari, even money, and then you would change the description, and then, you know, if people don't notice, it would be their own mistake. No, that's not how it goes. But yeah, that's honestly, it's pretty awful. Like, do let me know in the comments down below what you also think. But to be fair, this is pretty awful. But yeah, I just wanted it to put it to light because I was inspecting my buddy's pets, what he had, and I kind of noticed that the particular description of the ability had changed than what it was before. I kind of remember that one of these abilities were buffing, either debuffing enemy units or buffing friendly units. But when I checked, it was all troops, and I was like, no way, it can't be. So I found my previous video that I made about it, and, well, what do you know? It actually was that. So, yeah, it's, again, pretty awful. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully, you learned something new. And if you did, do hit that subscribe button. It would help me out a lot. Thanks for watching. Take care and stay safe out there.